Angelic Teaching 1, session number 4. All right. There we are. You've got your values. You've got your questions being answered. You know how important all this work is. You're able to interact with your environment. You start perceiving your emotions, your senses. You start to have your body participating into this action. What is next? Next is acting, changing, trusting. Let's dive into it. Focus on your crystal ball. Be aware of your breathing in and breathing out for it to be smooth. We need to be talking about another subject. This subject is about speed. At one point, you will feel that you need to accelerate time because you want to fit more things in it. You will feel limited because either you can't do something fast enough or you can't deliver fast enough a message. It might be, for example, speaking fast or not. There are people out there who are able to express themselves at such a speed. They can just throw out so many words in 1 minute with so many dense information and content, and everything being so well structured. That's a gift. How to use that? Should you go towards that and start increasing your speed of words being spoken in 1 minute? Or should you just stick to who you really are? Make it an asset instead of trying to run after something. See, even space blanks have a huge impact. When you will do your work, those parts as well is called the tempo. It sequences the flow of your work. It gives rhythm to your work. You know, it's like in music, there are so many different parameters. The beats, the intensity, so many, the pitch, the volume, the intensity. What is that important about it in the energy work? You're going to tell me, well, I like to blend different sources. Music is one of them. Speed is another one. Content is another one as well. But if you start blending all of them in one, you start creating something unique. something that will be created only once. Just this simple moment in your life called now. How could we be part of all of that and being aware of it? How could that work? I like to have my emotions being part of the process. What I feel give me indications, guidance on how I should be doing the rest of the work. It helps me, giving me guidance on working with a milder energy, or working with a greater intensity, or asking a question, or having a pause in the energy work and getting back into the talks, or not saying anything and getting and diving into the energy work, because I feel that's the right thing to do at that right moment. How to embrace all of that, how to accept it. Well, it's all part of the big plan. Whatever you have in mind on a day-to-day basis, whatever you have in mind on a big plan, on a master plan, it all comes up to the same things. How much you want to trust. Yes, after faith, we're talking about trust. I told you the values that we have condition and shape what we do and who we are. The way you interact with others, either humans or spirit, is important. There is one major tool I want to teach you here. It's about allowing yourself to dive into the emotions that are supposed to be created from one event or not. And I give you right away an example. You're in a grocery store. Someone pushes you. Something falls on the floor. And this person, instead of feeling sorry, send you a comment which hurt you. The first thing that comes up is that you want to react to it. Are you going to allow yourself to react to it? Or are you going to observe yourself about to say this and suddenly decide to shift that? To give yourself a slight moment to allow yourself to shift that and to find the right best answer to that behavior. Integrate it, accept it, and implement it right away on the spot. We're talking here about changing reality on the spot. That's exactly what it is. This is a major tool. And I really want you to acknowledge that. Of course, it doesn't apply only when you go for groceries, but in every single circumstances in your life. Something happens in your life that would expect you to be sad or angry or traumatized. Are you going to allow this to happen? Or are you going to transform it? At that time, you've got possibilities of interactions. Imagine that you will allow yourself to such emotions, guided by a reaction to events that just happened. I'd like you to start focusing for 1 second on the following events happening there. What if, after this man telling you off, after this package dropping on the floor and breaking maybe, you start to argue with him, maybe even initiating a fight? How much great would that bring to you? How much good would that bring to you? How would you feel about yourself? There is another concept. It talks about what we experience. Meaning that whatever emotion that we project outside, we manifest it in our daily life. People would say that like attract like. Well, it's even further than that. If you tune yourself to a certain frequency, you will embrace the same type of frequencies. You will start noticing the same type of frequencies. It's like buying a car. As soon as you buy a car, or you're about to buy a certain type of car, you see this car everywhere. Yes. The same way when you put yourself in a state of anger, you're going to have in your daily life all those different events lining up that are going to bring more anger to you, more opportunities for you to manifest more anger. You've been noticing sometimes you've got one day that starts on a weird way. You hear plugs start to fall on the floor right away as soon as you wake up. Then suddenly you can't find where to hook, where to plug the exact device for the USB charger for your phone. And you can't find it, and you just have to look at it 3 times before being able to slide it in properly. It's the second time already that something happened within the first 10 minutes that you woke up. And it starts to create a pattern. What are you going to do about it? Or not? Are you going to be aware of it? Did you start to find that there is a pattern? Are you going to wait the third time to start whinging about it? Which would mean commenting, accepting, or are you going to change it? Do you realize that as soon as you start analyzing it and understanding it, it just vaporizes? It just vanishes because it doesn't exist. Remember, all the stories that I gave you are stories that are tools that you can be implementing in your daily work, energy work. It's easier to understand a concept from reality, bringing it to energy work, than doing the opposite. Because we've been so used to seeing, to perceiving those different events in our daily life, that bringing them to the next level becomes easier. You will find pattern as well in your work. That's where I'm heading towards. Suddenly, the same type of shift that needs to be done again and again and again. One person coming towards you because they have got fears in their relationship with their partner. And the topic is trust. The second one comes back again with the same type of topic. And a third one. And the more you are aware of that, the more suddenly you have more of those coming towards you. Maybe because there is this topic that needs to be addressed in either your life or someone else's life who is close to you. As soon as you put light onto that, it shifts. So you're going to tell me, oh John, so if I start doing that, then that means I won't have any more clients coming. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to trust that whatever you do it for the best. And as soon as you solve one thing, then you're given more opportunity to help more people on other different levels. And whatever the guidance has to come towards you for, it will. Progressively, you might be becoming an expert in bringing faith to people. You have to understand that your gifts, who you are, at one point, influence the type of work that you're going to be doing. Whatever we feel confident in doing, whatever we feel strong in, become assets. Let's say that you like kids. You might have kids. And you start to feel that you're good with that. You will start to intuitively give guidance, ask more questions about that topic to your clients. And as a consequence, you will start to direct this flow of intentions in helping more parents with kids. Where our passion is, success is very close. Success is blooming. Whatever you're passionate about, you will feel that you have greater results than anything else. Always do something that brings you joy. Always do something that makes you more and more happy when you do it. Sometimes people tell me, John, you've got an amazing life. Yes, I do. How is that possible? It is possible because I'm aware of what I like and what I dislike. I'm aware of what matches with my happiness and what doesn't. And then you'll have to make decisions depending on what events happen and occur in your life, opportunities, to see if those opportunities are aligned with what you wish to do and what's best for you or not. I like to see opportunities as a way to increase and enhance things, because that's the way I see things. That's my angle, that's my point of view. And as a consequence, events happening in my life, I happen to see them coming towards me that way. There's another concept called resilience. And I love applying this concept. Whatever happens in your life, even though sometimes you don't see the potential of it, how would you be able to overcome the challenge that you have to face and at the same time get something greater out of it? How you're able to transform a challenge into an opportunity. That could be a full chapter, because it's so linked to the energy work that we're doing. Among those different stories that I give you, some of those stories will vibrate, will resonate more than others. Maybe through the whole full series of one teaching, whether it's teaching 1 or teaching 2, you might find 2, 3 different topics that ignite so much intensity and passion inside of you, that you make that switch and you bring yourself to the next level just with that. Because that's the ingredient that you needed in order to shift to another level of frequency. The same way you've been starting to notice that in those teachings I'm using less my hands. But the funny thing is, the energy is still there. How is that possible? Well, what you see and what you experience are different, because they are different. When one person comes for the first session, this person needs to see what they call reality. Meaning they come for energy work, they need to see you doing something in order to align it with what has to be done. Technically, they need to see your hands moving and you being very aware of what you're doing and working hard and consciously on those different topics. Progressively, you start to notice that you can be doing the same work without moving your hands, by feeling and controlling those waves of energy mentally, and feeling still guided with what you're saying and what you're doing. Does this mean that we won't be doing any energy work with our hands? No. It just means that at one point we're adding a new tool, which is doing energy work without the hands. So yes, you're going to tell me, John, those teachings, you were expecting to learn moves with your hands and how to embody this energy work with your hands. And at one point I'm telling you that you might not need your hands. Yes. As soon as you're going to be able to master the moves with your hands, then at one point you might feel that this type of shortcut can be done with your mental state. And you don't need to put your hands into it. I'm telling you, discovering how this energy works, implementing it with your hands. All right, I'll give you another tool. You start to understand that we're talking about different subjects, different topics. And we've been tapping into different types of energies. We could break that down into different chapters. We could be talking about types of frequencies. We could be doing another chapter on the guides, the archangels, the removing the energies, the transforming, the unlocking the pains, the regressions, and so on. We could be talking about different places where we've been tapping into, such as Atlantis energies, Jesus and Mary energy, love. You do start to understand that at one point you're tapping into your own content of information. You're developing and getting aware more of one subject than another. You're becoming more guided, more connected to some things than others, drawn to, such as you might feel drawn to a frequency such as Egypt, the pyramids, Tutankhamun's pyramids energies. You might feel connected more towards releasing physical pains. You might be linked more to receiving and connected more to emotions. Again, you are guided towards those things because not only that's something that you like doing, that you're good at, but it's also because you've been shaped by the events in your life that trigger those sensitivities and those gifts. And that's a very important concept. Let's say that when you were a kid, you were traumatized a lot because you were having a lot of different events emotionally that were disturbing for you, that will affect your psychological aspects of you as well as your emotions. Because of this hypersensitivity of yours on those different topics, by being hurt as much, creating such as bruises on those different locations, if you could have the image of it, if you can pick up the image. At one point, you become very sensitive. Remember when you've got one bruise and then when you go for another activity and guess what? You feel that you always get hurt at the same place all the time. Whether it's your thumb or your knee or your shoulder. Is it really that you always get hurt on those same locations? Or is it because you're not that aware that you are being pushed on other levels as well, but because they are not as sensitive, you don't feel them as much as the locations where you've got your bruises? You do understand that those images are only there for you to understand those concepts of how to perceive your gifts and your abilities. Yes, events that happen in our life, and especially in a more repetitive way, create our path and our gifts. We can allow ourselves to be sad, to have anger, to create more emotions about events that shaped who we are, or accept them for what they are and use them with the tool of the resilience, saying, yes, I had events in my life which increased my sensitivity on that field and that one, and from that I'm feeling more and more empowered because I do know how to feel things now and how to use it. Maybe you might be more and more linked to thoughts patterns and being able to identify them, being able to find when one person is trying to manipulate you, and also when one's person emotion is not true. When I've been traveling to different countries, I'm always aware of how one country can shape one's population identity in a way or another, depending on the events that occur in one's personal life and the history of a country as well. It shapes the identity of the country. So it's not just about humans and individuals. We're talking about a group of populations. Meaning that when you help one person with one specific topic, dealing with a very specific issue, you want to be aware that you're also helping all the full community of this person for the symptom that you're working on. It brings a strength in the work that you're doing. It increases your awareness and brings you more power into the work that you're doing. That's an important concept. Another concept is frustrations. How do you overcome your frustrations? What do you learn from them? Let's say that you've got an amazing content that you want to deliver. You create your workshop and you bring a lot of people there and you come up to 20 people, which is great. And then you suddenly realize that the next event that you want to create, you won't be able to have that many people coming in because those people who already came were the ones who wanted to come. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop doing events? Are you going to keep running all over the world and finding those more people that you could help and deliver this information that you have? Or are you going to find new ways, new tools to implement in order to help create your audience, to reach more people? Internet is great for that. It allows you, gives you the ability to reach out more and to find more help, to be able to deliver, to reach to other people that you would not have expected. How do you make that happen? By trusting one step after another that everything that you're doing has a purpose. Again, it's all about working on multi-different layers, but with the right proportion. You need to have your face-to-face sessions that will give you the feedback and still have this connection with humankind. And progressively you want to have this greater openness and being able to reach out to a bigger scale. Forget one of those different elements and you will feel shallow. You will feel empty because there will be something missing. There are times where you feel that you need to focus more on one bit than another. You have to trust that. You have to align yourself with that as well. Some of you work on a linear timeline, meaning that they start something, they know it's going to go for 5 years, then they change something, they go for something else, and it goes for 7 years. Some others start different projects at the same time, bringing them into different split directions. Some others break it down to all different projects in different timelines. Some others break all those different rules and mix the two concepts. So many ways, so many different opportunities. Again, it's the way you conceptualize your environment that creates your reality. It is the way you conceptualize your environment that shapes your reality. Whatever you perceive becomes your reality. Whatever you structure your thoughts, your mind patterns into your beliefs, systems, the more it works for you or against you. Let's get back to some energy. Realigning everything that we've been talking about to make it being understood by each of your cells, by each different part of you. So all your gifts, all your abilities work all together towards the same goal. Feel how this structure, your own beliefs, your own self, how you feel stronger and more empowered. Feel how the energy flows better. How you start to feel that everything makes sense suddenly. A lot of shifts are going to happen tonight after this session, I know that. a lot of capacities for you being announced. Talk to you soon.